What's going on, everybody? We're here. We're live. Hopefully, you all can hear me clearly. If you're new to the channel, my apologies for not showing myself like I normally would on a live stream. And also my apologies for being late, about 15 minutes late. But, we're going to get into it. And today's show is going to be a pretty good one. And it should be a pretty short one. I think I got this down to a science of keeping these live streams short by just simply going off of the notes. So if you can hear me clearly, uh please let me know by just hitting the one in the live chat, and then we can get this started. If you can hear me clearly, please hit the one in the live chat. Also, while I'm waiting for the ones to come in, because I'm going to assume that you all can hear me, I want to address, okay, I see the ones coming in. Fanteezy with the $5 super chat, I appreciate that. Fanteezy 731, Fanteezy with the greatest username on YouTube, I love that name. Fanteezy said, "Hey TD, when are you going to do another episode of Brother Please Hear Me Out?" I plan on actually bringing that back sometime by the end of the next quarter, right? I will March of next year. If I bring that show back March of next year, things are going well on this side for me. Okay, I'll say that much. But that's the plan. I do want to bring Brother Please Hear Me Out back. So now, before we get into the show, and once again, I see everybody can hear me clearly, so that's great. If you're new to the channel, once again, please make sure you hit the subscribe button. Also, like this video if you haven't liked the video yet, and share this video out as well on all your social media platforms. As I stated also in the last live stream, in these last days of free speech, because we definitely are in the last days of free speech. If you are in the business of media, if you're on YouTube, the most important thing that you can have is access to your audience, right? So that's the most important thing for me as well. So if you haven't already joined a text group, please text TD Hip Hop to number 33222. That's TD Hip Hop to number 33222. That way you get a direct link whenever I release a new video, right? And also, if you haven't already, please make sure you join the emailing list also. The link to the emailing list will be in the description box below, as well as pinned in the comment section once the live stream is over, and people are watching it on the replay. So please make sure you do that. Like I said, the most important thing for me and anybody in media to have is access to our audience, direct access that's independent of YouTube and the mainstream social media platform. So please join the text group as well as the emailing list. And lastly, please show your support for the channel. If you have a love and appreciation for the work that I do on this channel, please, you can show your support through Cash App, that $ TD Hip Hop. You can do it via the super chat. If you're watching a live stream now, you can use the super thanks button, which is next to the share button if you're watching this on a replay. And you could also join Patreon as well for as little as $3 a month. The link will be in the description box below, as well as pinned in the comment section. Or you can become a channel member by hitting the join button next to the subscribe button. So now that all of that is out of the way, let's get into today's show. Now, currently, and it's pretty obvious to me at this point, Hollywood is working overtime right now to make Black men the face of anti-Semitism. They've already done that concerning anti-Asian hate, and they've made us pretty much the face of everything else that's evil in this country since really the inception of this country, right? Now, what I want to do right now is that I want people to understand, like, when it comes to the entertainment industry and in media as a whole, right? The chief purpose for its existence, when you're talking about Hollywood and mainstream media, its chief purpose of existence is essentially to portray Black Americans, and to be even more specific, Black men, as the most unruly, savage beast of human beings that's ever existed. That's one of their chief purposes, on top of many. The lazy, shiftless, unruly Black savage beast. That's their purpose. That's what they do best and what they do all the time. And the entertainment industry, as we know it today, was literally founded on anti-Black racism. That's why you see what you see in front of your screen right now concerning the Minster Show. I just want to read a couple things off to you. But it was literally founded on anti-Black racism. The entertainment industry, Hollywood as a whole, was founded upon that. And I'm going to prove that to you right now, right? Because a lot of times, and I see, shout out to uh, Gifty jumping the gun, speaking of Birth of a Nation, but even before Birth of a Nation, even before Birth of a Nation. So let me read this to you right now, right? Concerning minstrel shows. The minstrel show, also called minstrelsy, I think minstrelsy, was an American form of racist theatrical entertainment developed in the 19th century. Each show consisted of comic skits, variety acts, dancing, and music performances that depicted people specifically of African descent. The shows were performed by mostly white people wearing blackface makeup for the purposes of playing the role of black people. There were also some African American performers and black only minstrel groups that formed and toured. Minstrel excuse me, that noise threw me off. Minstrel shows caricatured black people as dim-witted, lazy, buffoonish, superstitious, and happy-go-lucky. As I was saying earlier, this is one of the purposes of his existence. Blackface minstrelly, I believe it's pronounced, was the first uniquely American form of theater. So I'm going to read that again. The minstrel show, right? Blackface, by way of the minstrel show, was the first uniquely American form of theater. Minstrel shows emerged as a brief burlesque and comic interacts in the early 1830s in the Northwest and Northeastern states. They were developed into full-fledged form in the next decade. By 1848, blackface minstrel shows were the national art form, translating formal art such as opera into popular terms for a general audience. By the turn of the 20th century, the minstrel show enjoyed but a shadow of its former popularity, having been replaced for the most part by vaudeville. Vaudeville, I looked it up earlier, was a form of theater that was created in France, right? The form survived as professional entertainment until about 1910. Okay, I'm going to read that again. And I have it highlighted in blue for a reason. The form survived as professional entertainment until about 1910. Why 1910? Because that decade was the beginning of Hollywood. That's why. Amateur performers continued until the 1960s in high schools and local theaters, right? So this minstrel show, which was the foundation, right, of American theater, that portrayed Black Americans as being dim-witted, lazy, buffoonish, superstitious, and happy-go-lucky. That was the foundation of theater here in America. And then once that died out in the 1910s, it died out because that was essentially the beginning of Hollywood, right? Now in comes Birth of a Nation. The Birth of a Nation, originally called The Klansman, is a 1915 silent epic drama film directed by D.W. Griffith and starring Lillian Gish. The screenplay was adapted from Thomas Dixon Jr.'s 1905 novel and play, The Klansman. Griffith co-wrote the screenplay with Frank E. Woods and produced the film with Harry Atkins. The Birth of a Nation is a landmark of film history, lauded for its technical veracity. It was the first non-serial American 12-reel film ever made. Its plot, part fiction and part history, chronicles the assassination of Abraham Lincoln by John Wilkes Booth and the relationship of two families in the Civil War and Reconstruction eras over the course of several years. The pro-Union Stonemans and the pro-Confederacy Cameroons. It was originally shown in parts, separated by intermission, and it was the first American-made film made to have a musical score for an orchestra. It pioneered close-ups and fade-outs, and it includes carefully staged battle sequences with hundreds of extras. Another first, made to look like thousands. It came with a 13-page souvenir program. It was the first motion picture to be screened inside of the White House, viewed there by President Woodrow Wilson, his family, and members of his cabinet. This film was controversial even before its release, and it has remained so ever since. It has been called the most controversial film ever made in the United States and the most reprehensibly racist film in Hollywood history. This is the birth of Hollywood, the birth of mainstream entertainment, whether it's from theater to the movie screen, has always been anti-Black racism. And it's not a coincidence, but I just find it interesting that at the time that I'm doing this live stream talking about this, today also I saw EGOT trending on Twitter for Viola Davis. Viola Davis may be the next person to receive the EGOT, and EGOT is an acronym for Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony, right? So I guess she was just nominated for a Grammy today or yesterday, whenever that was. So if she wins, she'll be the latest person to get an EGOT. There's not much really to that. I was just throwing that out there, but I just think it's interesting how people are making a big hoopla over becoming possibly the next EGOT, given the fact that the foundation of the very entertainment industry that everybody loves so much and they're dying for these awards and these accolades so much was founded upon the hatred of their people. You know, that's quite interesting if you ask me. Now, the entire entertainment industry, media at large, like I said, was founded on anti-Black racism. Uh, so now when you look at the Kyrie situation, right, and you look at the Dave Chappelle situation, and you look at how they're being, treated, and you look at how hard they're reaching so hard to make us the face of anti-Semitism, it becomes no surprise at this point, right? It's no surprise at all because this is what they've always done. And making us the face of evil, making us the face of nonsense, making us the face of hate, is what they've always done. So it's really of no surprise at all. So now, when you go back to the Kyrie Irving situation, uh, which was such a gross reach, right? It was such a gross reach that literally everyone had to walk it back. That's how crazy of a reach it was, from Stephen A. Smith to Shannon Sharp to Shaq. In the case of Shaquille O'Neal, uh, Shaq just had to be quiet at this point, because after his initial statement, as a lot of it came out that Shaq's movie theater in Jersey actually played the movie From Hebrews to Negroes. So after that came out, he just had to be quiet, right? You even have guys like Jalen Rose, who made an anti-Kyrie PSA statement, and then he had to walk it back. I think literally the next day, he made an apology for it. And you see these apologies, or not necessarily apologies, but everybody walking it back on all levels. You have the New Jersey Nets owner, Joe Tsai, right? Who said, Carla and I met with Kyrie and his family yesterday. We spent quality time to understand each other. And it's clear to me that Kyrie does not have any beliefs of hate towards Jewish people or any other group. When you come to the NBA commissioner here from the New York Times, the NBA commissioner says, we had a direct and candid conversation. Silver, who is Jewish, said in an interview with the New York Times, adding, he's someone I've known for a decade, and I've never heard an anti-Semitic word from him or, frankly, hate directed at any group. He went on to say, he added that, he added that he had no doubt that Irving was not anti-Semitic. Everybody is literally walking it back within the NBA, right? They're within the NBA circles. But what's interesting about everybody walking it back within the NBA circles is that the media as a whole, right, is not letting it go. And it makes sense based off what I read earlier. It makes sense because this is what they were formed for. They were formed for the purposes of making Black Americans look bad and become the face of evil and the face of foolishness at all times and at all costs, like I just read off to you, right? They're not letting it go at all. And one of the things that made it so clear to me, it made it so clear that this was not so much about the movie, right? The documentary, as much as it is about just making us the face of anti-Semitism. That became more clear when all these articles started coming out, right? And let me show you something real quick. Many of you should be aware of this already, right? Mila Kunis joins over 200 celebrities calling on Amazon to remove anti-Semitic film touted by Kyrie Irving, right? This isn't really new news for you all. I would assume most of you all knew about this already. But what's interesting and why I'm pointing this out is because just about every article written about this that you'll see, they always have Kyrie Irving as the lead photo, right? For this article that's discussing the open letter that was signed by 200 celebrities calling for Amazon to remove the anti-Semitic film, right? Allegedly anti-Semitic. It's not. I watched the movie. It isn't anti-Semitic. But that matters, right? Because you'll see over here too with the CBS here. You see they had started off with Kyrie Irving, and you see well, now it's an ad playing. So let me move it away from there. But even on this cover photo as well, the cover video, I should say, for this article is Kyrie Irving, right? And then when you come to this Deadline article over here, if it's not Kyrie Irving, it'll be the woman that kicked it off, Mila Kunis. And you'll see here another article. They may not have Kyrie Irving on here, but they have Mila Kunis and what's this woman's name? Deborah Messing. But what they won't have, the photo that they won't have, is a photo of Jeff Bezos or even the Amazon logo. And that matters, right? That actually matters a great deal, because somebody like myself, right, who's a content creator, right, and I'm involved in media, I don't think you all understand how much actually goes into like cover art or a thumbnail of a YouTube video. The majority of you that clicked on this video right now, you clicked on it mainly on the basis of what you saw via the thumbnail. When I made the thumbnail of this video, I knew what I was doing. It took me a while to make it, despite how simple it may look, right? Because that's important. That matters. So their refusal, right? When they talk about this open letter that was written to Jeff Bezos and Amazon, signed by 200 celebrities to remove From Hebrews to Negroes off of Amazon, when they keep writing these articles about it, but they're only showing Kyrie Irving as the face. He's the only one that they're showing as the face, and they're refusing to show Jeff Bezos. They're refusing to even show the Amazon logo. That lets you know all that you need to know in regards to what all this is really about, which is simply about making Black men the face of anti-Semitism, period. Because like I said, many of you don't really understand, and it's no slight to you because I didn't understand it either till I was involved in media, how much that matters. Who's the top photo? Who's the top guy? Who's the first thing and who's the first person that you see once you read the headline? And you'll see it's consistently Kyrie Irving, even though they're talking about Amazon and Jeff Bezos. They refuse to show Jeff Bezos. Now we fast forward, right? I'm sure many of you all have seen already as well, the Dave Chappelle monologue, right? And once the Dave Chappelle monologue hit where he talked about the Kyrie situation, obviously like clockwork, certain people made it a point to take advantage of that moment and blast Dave Chappelle's monologue as being anti-Semitic, right? Articles being written like crazy about Dave Chappelle being anti-Semitic monologue. He's normalizing, anti-Semitism. That's what they were saying about Dave Chappelle. You started to see this literally everywhere. Dave Chappelle's SNL monologue elicits backlash from Anti-Defamation League national director, right? Did I read this one? Yeah. Dave Chappelle's SNL monologue sparks backlash as being anti-Semitic. It wasn't. If you watch it, it's just jokes. And it was hilarious. And I find it amazing how with a certain group of people, literally anybody can be talked about, anybody can be joked on, anybody can be laughed at, except for them. They're the only ones that are untouchable. right? You're not even allowed to do a stand-up bit, 15-minute bit, speaking on current events surrounding Kanye and Kyrie Irving concerning these people. They're going to automatically say it's anti-Semitic. But here's something that, if it's true from Dave Chappelle, was really, really gangster, right? If this is true, this was gangster. From page 6, it reads, Dave Chappelle switched SNL monologue between rehearsal and live show. And before we carry on, I see somebody sent me a Cash App. I appreciate the support, brother, for the Cash App. I won't say your name because some people don't want the name said, but I see you and thank you very much. Thank you very much. And for all those who've supported the channel via Cash App, via Super Chat, or joining Patreon or becoming a channel member, I appreciate that as well. It's very much needed. It's very much appreciated, even if it's $1. Every little bit helps, right? When everybody contributes a little bit, it equals to a lot, even if it's $1. So thank you very much for the brother that hit me up on the Cash App. Now let's carry on because I want to read this article here. Because like I said, if Dave Chappelle actually did this, then this was gangster, right? Dave Chappelle switched SNL monologue between rehearsal and live show, right? Dave Chappelle did a fake Saturday Night Live monologue during the show's dress rehearsal, sources said, and then switched his material for the live show. A source told Page 6, Dave does a fake monologue during the dress rehearsal because he doesn't want SNL creator Lauren Michaels or anybody else to know what his real monologue is. Okay? This is amazing. The live 15-minute monologue, however, caused even more controversy for other reasons. Chappelle was blasted by the Anti-Defamation League for popularizing anti-Semitism with jokes. Like I said, if that was real, that was amazing. But it wasn't anti-Semitic, right? It wasn't. It was just jokes. But we're going to see a lot of this moving forward. Kanye West was just a convenient excuse, right? Oh, there's a little bit more that I forgot to read. Jewish activist Rudy Rockman called the Chappelle's monologue a malicious and calculated move to desensitize the population from anti-Semitism. That statement I find very interesting concerning this person saying a malicious and calculated move to desensitize the population from anti-Semitism. Kind of like how mainstream media and the music industry has desensitized the population to Black death, right? Almost everybody in this country listens to rap music every day, where we're listening to brothers being celebrated for killing other brothers and sleeping with other men's women. This is kind of a regular thing that we hear on the radio and a regular thing that you hear playing from everybody's car. And certain people that are in the media and run the media industry, they have no problem desensitizing the population to essentially Black genocide, self-inflicted Black genocide, right? And creating, you know, babies out of wedlock, I'll say, right? They don't have a problem desensitizing the population to that. But when Dave Chappelle makes it's a little jokey joke about what's currently happening, in the world, now it's anti-Semitism. Time Out New York Theater editor Adam Feldman argued that Dave Chappelle's SNL monologue probably did more to normalize anti-Semitism than anything Kanye said. That's completely ridiculous. And if you're thinking about what Kanye actually said, what Kanye said and what Kanye was talking about was never even addressed. Like I was saying earlier, Kanye West was just a convenient excuse, right? To make Black Americans the face, and particularly Black men, the face of anti-Semitism. He was a convenient excuse. But if you go back to Kanye and the things that he was talking about, the things that he was saying, anytime they throw the word anti-Semitism on him, it's solely around the initial tweet that he had made talking about DEFCON 6 or was it DEFCON 5 or DEFCON 6? Um, if I remember correctly, he misspelled the word. He put like DEFCON or something like that. And it's not DEFCON. If I'm not mistaken, it's like DEFCON, which once again, if I'm not mistaken, it simply means defense. I'm going on defense. But they keep harping on that whenever they speak on him. Oh, DEFCON 3. Okay. They keep harping on that whenever they talk about Kanye being anti-Semitic, but they never address his actual grievances on the Drink Champs, which is his displeasure between those people and the Black community and how they treat us and how they do us and how they portray us in media, whether it's movies, whether it's TV, or whether it's music. Nobody addresses that from their side ever. They simply focus on the tweet. Why is that? Well, like I was saying before, it all goes back to the foundation of the entertainment industry in America. From the minstrel show, right? Which was the beginning. I'll read it from here. I'll read it here. Was an American form of theatrical entertainment developed in the early 19th century, right? This was a catalyst of theater in America to actually Hollywood, which the birth of a nation was the catalyst of theatrical releases in Hollywood. It was the foundation of Hollywood, right? They don't want to address any of that. They don't speak to any of that. They dismiss it. And the dismissal of that in and of itself is disrespectful. Because if you go back to his Drink Champs interview, he was very clear on why he was upset in his grievances. And essentially they told you F off. By telling Kanye F off, they were telling all of us F off. That's how I personally feel about it. And you're even seeing that now carry on with Kyrie. His 5-game suspension is up already. They're still not letting him play. I think they're supposed to be playing the Lakers pretty soon. They're not allowing him to play in that game. He's still being suspended. And there was a poll that came out about Kyrie recently. I don't remember if it was on ESPN or what, but they spoke to, I believe they did a polling with 11 or 12 GMs saying, would you hire Kyrie again? And all 11 or 12 GMs in the NBA said, no, we would not hire Kyrie. I shouldn't say again, but we would not hire Kyrie. We would not sign him. So you're seeing the media is still making it a point to remove one's ability to be able to make money. Now, mind you, because they're rich already, people will overlook that. And they'll say, oh, well, it doesn't matter. Kanye's rich already. It doesn't matter. Kyrie Irving is rich already. So what if Kyrie can't play basketball anymore, right? So what if Kanye can't partner with anybody anymore and get back to billionaire status? But it's not about that. It's not about Kanye being able to do that or Kyrie being able to do that. It's a slap in the face to you. Because if you have people that are supposed to be as rich, powerful, and influential as these two brothers are supposed to be, right? And if they could demoralize them, if they could buck break them, if they can chop them down to size, then you for sure, the common man or woman, you listening to me right now, you for sure better be quiet. You better not ever show your face and have something slick to say or make a basic observation, or else we'll clip your wings too. And that's the message that's being sent here. Now, what's going to happen with Dave Chappelle moving forward? Who knows? I personally don't think much because he's bucked the system before. And he's somebody who has no problem bowing out and walking away. He did it before with the Chappelle show. And to a degree, he appears to somewhat be made of Teflon. But then I guess at the end of the day, nobody really is, right? Nobody really is when it comes to these folks. Because once again, going back to Kyrie, his suspension was already supposed to be up. The 5th game already came and went. But in my personal opinion, when you look at the owner of the team, Joe Tsai, who's an Asian guy, I personally feel like there are people over him that he's in business with, right? And that he has ties to that are telling him, look, if you let him step back on the court right now before we give any type of okay, then we're going to clip your wings also. And we'll make you lose. We'll make you look crazy and we'll make you lose a lot of money. That's what I personally think. I don't think that Josiah is acting on his own accord when he's not letting Kyrie play again. I personally think that there's something else going on behind the scenes with people higher up than him, right? That are twisting his arm to make him not put Kyrie Irving on the floor, because that's the message that they want to send. You say anything about us, we will strip you of your livelihood, right? We will strip you of your livelihood. And you're now seeing this become a regular thing, but it's becoming a regular thing with who? Not with anybody else but Black Americans, right? So, with all that being said, that does it for today's video. I thank you all for joining me today on today's live stream. We actually wrapped this up in 35 minutes, which is great. Great time. Glad this did not go an hour or further because it didn't need to. And I don't need to beat a dead horse. So, please, on your way out, if you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Please share this video out with your family and friends. And also, if you haven't already, make sure you text TD Hip Hop to number 33222. Please join the text message group service. I'm not sending you a multi-marketing, what's it called? Multi-marketing scheme links. If you sign up to this program and you get some people under you, then we could all make money together. It's not a multi-marketing scheme, It's legit. Anybody who's a part of the text group will let you know in the live chat. I literally only send the text messages out when I go live or when I drop a pre-recorded video that I'm uploading. So text TD Hip Hop to number 33222 if you haven't already to join the text group. Also, join the emailing list. The link to that will be pinned in the comment section below, and it's also in the description box below. And lastly, if you haven't already, or for those of you who have already, thank you for your support. I saw another Cash App came through. I appreciate all the support that I get for the work that I put in on this channel. It's appreciated dearly. And like I said, a little bit goes a long way. When everybody participates, it equals out to a lot, even if it's $1 a person, right? So thank you for your time. And until the next video, peace.